Here to talk about his bid to become the next senator from New Mexico, former U.S. Marine Corps Colonel Alan Way. Alan, thanks for joining us on America's Forum.
JD, thanks for having me.
Yes, indeed. We should note there's somewhat of a delay in our discussion, but let me talk to you about this race. How have you been able to close the gap with Tom Udall?
Well, we had a plan, JD, to bring our message to the voters. And the implementation of that plan, obviously, for the most part, did not occur till after Labor Day. And we were reasonably close around Labor Day. I say reasonably close. We were down somewhere between 10 and 13 points. But we were close enough that we knew that the actual implementation of our campaign plan would close the gap. The calculation was we had enough time to do it between Labor Day and Election Day. That's what's taking place on the ground.
And as that takes place on the ground, Alan, what message do you think has gotten through to New Mexico voters that will send you to the United States Senate to replace Tom Udall?
What we have is a senator who's voted 94% of the time with Barack Obama. He's never broken with the president, regardless of the failures in Washington. And when I say failures, I'm talking about plural. Failed leadership, raw incompetence, and partisan gridlock, all of which, frankly, the public has had enough of. And I'm talking about Republicans and independents. I'm not talking about the faithful still adhering to some notion that this administration is competent. It is not competent, and Tom Udall is part of the problem. Consequently, we have a shot at replacing him because people wake up to the fact that his votes, and he cast a deciding vote on Obamacare like a bunch of other Democrat senators. But the fact of the matter is, things are imploding around them, and Americans want some change.
And Alan, part and parcel of that change is the persona, the resume you would bring to the job as a retired colonel from the Marine Corps. You're a no-nonsense guy, and it sounds to me as if you want to run a solutions-based campaign.
Well, I don't think there's any question about that. When we engaged yesterday in yesterday's debate, Tom practiced gotcha politics, and I wanted to talk about the things that would move us forward. And I think people are on to that. Here's a guy who shows up every 6 years to get reelected instead of doing something every year of his 6 years. And there's a big difference. New Mexico begins to realize they've got a clear choice. And I'm telling you, JD, the choice between myself and Tom Udall couldn't be any different.
It certainly is. You draw a stark contrast in terms of what you bring to the job in resume, but also, as you mentioned, last night's debate. Maybe it's because today is Halloween. It appeared that Senator Udall was in a full-tilt meta-scare campaign, going back to those shop-worn themes that if you're a Republican, somehow you want to hurt grandma and take away Social Security and disrupt Medicare, thus the name meta-scare. Do you believe you properly rebutted him last night in that debate?
Well, they're still running ads about my wanting to cut this stuff, even though, JD, I have never said I wanted to cut any of this stuff. I find it unbelievable. I was told this was going to happen, but I find it unbelievable that these guys will just throw a TV ad up and tell people something that I've never said. And they have no shame. I mean, this is the doggonedest thing I've ever seen. But it's okay. I think people understand that old record has been played over and over again, and it's finally broken.
Well, you know, I served with Tom Udall in the House, and my personal impression is he's a friendly guy, but like a lot of guys on the left, the campaign he runs is oftentimes devoid of facts, and he tries to depend on emotion. I heard him mention grandma. I heard him mention the elderly ladies, and we see some of the footage where he puts on the cowboy hat and goes out with the boots. Is it too strong to call him a storefront cowboy, Alan?
Well, you know, I don't know about that, JD, but the fact of the matter is Tom Udall is wrong for New Mexico. He has comes out of this family dynasty. You know, I think he believes that he's entitled to the seat because his father served in Congress, and this is just the family business. Well, at the end of the day, I've never served in office, but I've got a clearer view of where this country needs to go than this guy ever will. So I'm presenting my case to New Mexico. Enough New Mexicans are listening that this race is now a horse race.
Colonel Alan Way. Maybe he's going to find a way to the U.S. Senate. We will keep an eye on that race. Obviously, a lot more to talk about here on America's Forum, and we will get to it following this Newsmax Now update.